Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Good to see you, Austin.
Welcome back,
everybody.
Another week in the books. It's Monday night here on the West Coast. I'm Austin.
Right.
He's Torin. We get together every week, have some beers, and talk football.
Yes, sir.
Not American football. I just came off the basketball court. It's still salty a little bit. Nothing like a beer after running around and sweating, just
tasting the sweat off those lips as you.
Yeah, we came away with the W too, so I'm feeling
down
good.
The beer.
I'm ready to go.
Oh, nice. Oh, he's amped then.
Our other friend / podcaster had to duck out because his team lost in devastating fashion, and Blake just didn't have it in him. He was too upset to join the call tonight.
Yeah. We'll give him a few days to cool off, and then we'll get his take on what happened. Before we get into that, we'll start off with that, but quickly do our episode warm-up, start of the show drinks. Austin, with a great week in Pick'ems and Fantasy.
Let's go, baby.
First place in Pick'ems. 7 points. It was a real tough week in Pick'ems. Not everyone did very well. But first place for Austin was 7 points. I took home third with 4 points. So one drink for me.
I took a drink anyways. Celebrate.
Fantasy. Austin with a commanding win. 37 points, which is not a lot of points.
That one?
But it was a terrible week in fantasy.
Oh,
terrible.
My gosh.
I got dead last with 16 points. That's the lowest I've ever scored.
I can't believe I won with 37. That's insane.
Yeah, you won with 37. Next closest was 30. There's a 30 and a 29. So you won by 7 points in a really bad week. I had such a bad week. My highest scoring player was my goalie with 6 points. I got a -4 out of Udogi. I got a combined. The next highest score I got after my goalie with 6 was 2 points. I got 2 points out of Hallen, who was my captain, so he got 1 point, which they doubled to 2 points.
Well, he was my captain.
It was just
too.
atrocious week for fantasy. So I'm gonna take multiple drinks for that, getting dead last.
Oh my gosh, double first for me. I like it.
And we did forget to do it in the last episode, but we remembered after the show to make our prop bets. And you ended up winning the prop bet with the shot in the dark Sheffield choice. And I chose Westham, who had a real exciting game, but ended up losing on the road. So I got another drink.
Let's go, dude! I felt good about that Sheffield when I texted you because West Ham was the obvious pick for the underdog, and then after that I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. Sheffield at home, they got this.
Smart, real smart. You chose the right time to go all in. And then last but not least, red cards. We had 2 red cards.
Oof.
They just so happened to be in the same game and by the same team. But 2 more red cards this week to continue the outrageous tally we're seeing so far this season.
I mean, 2 red cards is right on the average, which is pathetic, if you ask me. There's too many red cards. There's too many. Should we just jump right into that game? Monday's game?
Let's get into it.
Tottenham, Chelsea. And it's so early in the match, too. What was the red card at?
33rd.
33rd minute? You're giving a straight red on, a clearance of the ball just because he followed through on the guy? Come on. If you want to give a penalty and a yellow, that's fine. It shouldn't be a straight red, man. He followed through, yes. It's Christian Romero, yes. So, he doesn't always get the benefit of the doubt, nor should he. But, I don't know, soft-ass red card, if you ask me.
It was soft. It was, one of those quote-unquote borderline ones per the rules, but it wasn't anything completely outrageous. It was aggressive. It went through the ball, but it wasn't, for somebody that has a reputation, it wasn't up to his reputation, I would say, right? That wasn't the level of, really trying to hurt somebody. So,
yeah.
But I will say, I realized after I watched the highlights that previous to that red card that did get reviewed and red card given, he had already been reviewed once for a potential red card where he just kicked out at somebody while he was on the ground. and ended up not being deemed because he kind of kicked him with his laces. It wasn't like cleats or anything. I think they just gave him a yellow. And there had already been another red card review for Udogie, who had a 2-footed studs up challenge but didn't really make any contact. And after that first red, there was another review for Reece James with an elbow. So in the first half, there were 4 red card reviews, one of which was given before we even get to the second half, where a second red card is given after double yellow. Crazy. It was insane, man.
And it just sucks.
Multiple goals being called out for offsides, reviewed. It wasn't anything. Like, I'm not saying the refs did anything wrong. Like, it was just the game was that close in so many situations that this is what can happen in the era of VAR, right? When everything is that tight and that close.
Yeah. This was the weekend of VAR. So much VAR. Like, it overshadowed all of the matches, especially the big matches. I don't know if there's anything necessarily wrong in a sense that they need to fix it like right now, not the end of the season, but I do wish they would have a little more discretion with the red cards. That's my only thing. I think it's okay to give a yellow. Like, if you're going to catch somebody, like, that happens, but catching someone shouldn't automatically be a red card. And I think there should be, I don't know, a little bit more leeway.
Well, I think that's where they got it right with the Reece James one, because it was an elbow to a head, but it wasn't intentional. Like, that was one where, like, if we were in the era of, like, or this particular ref was like, any sort of contact as a red, that would have been given as a red, and they didn't. So good. I feel like there was a little bit of discretion at play. Obviously, the Romero one was borderline, but crazy game. Super exciting to watch. Tottenham comes out just dominating, creating chance after chance, multiple chances called offsides. End up scoring and going up 1-0. With the red card also came a penalty, which Cole Palmer scores, almost gets saved off the post. Just like there's just everything in a game that you would want. Just back and forth, crazy goal line clearances, people getting injured while play's still going on, goals getting scored and called back. Like, it was just wild. And then obviously in the second half, after the game was tied 1-1, Tottenham goes down another man after the second yellow for Udogie. They continue to just play their game, play hard, just giving it everything, and they finally got caught on the offside trap late into the game, 70-something minute. And after that, it was over. They had spent everything in their tank.
Yeah.
So the scoreline ended up being 4-1, but it was tight and close till very close to the end.
It's a little bit of justice for the Liverpool match, I think. So it'll maybe just even itself out throughout the season with all these red card decisions. I just want to read you Blake, our Tottenham correspondent. He's already like reeling. This is during the match. He said, honestly proud that, or right after the match, he said, honestly proud that they kept it close for so long. I fucking love Angie. Dude was pressing and had a high line with 9 players. They ended up scoring twice to tie, but offsides got him. The injuries hurt more than result, to be honest. Might hurt the top 4 chances. And all I responded with was, it's dire time. He said, oh God, kill me. We'll be in the championship if he has to start for an extended period of time. He's like, Brighton's going to score 5 goals on us when we go in February. He's already doom and gloom about February.
That's crazy, yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, that's what happens when you go from undefeated to undefeated no more in the span of 90 minutes. So obviously, I mean, if you're Chelsea, you take anything you can get. So I feel like, you don't feel like maybe you really earned it or deserved it, but you're happy to walk away with a win in a game like this, even if it took some fortunate things happening for you. But Tottenham, obviously, like you said, the injuries, those hurt. So we saw Van de Ven. So obviously we saw the red card for Romero, which was a straight red. That's a 3-game suspension, violent conduct.
Yep.
Udogie with a double yellow red. He's out for a game. Van de Ven with with what looked like a terrible hamstring pull, where he just collapsed on the ground. And then Madison also came out like 2 minutes apart from the Van de Ven injury.
Yeah.
His looks to be a little bit more minor, but yeah, just tough stuff, man.
Rough
You
night.
go from being so optimistic to so destitute and so despondent in 90 minutes, man.
One last takeaway for the match for me. Nicholas Jackson had a hat trick, and somehow I feel worse than I did going into the match for him. I feel like he looked terrible. It was the worst hat trick I've ever seen. He didn't look confident, and like, I don't think he's ever going to score a hat trick again unless there's only 9 guys on the field.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And the funniest part was the last goal in injury time. Full breakaway. He's got Mudryk out to his left, wide open for a tap in, and then fakes it to Mudryk, dribbles around the goalie to get the hat trick. And they did a slow mo replay after, and you could just see Mudryk in the background, just like dying inside and just like completely unexcited that this fool just didn't pass him the ball. It was so good, man. Just like, you are not a good teammate.
He didn't like sort his feet out right. It looked awkward too. It was like, Nicholas Jackson, I think I know everything I need to know about him. So
yeah,
but hey,
he'll be on the bench a second, and Kunku's back. So
big 3 points for Chelsea, and we will see for Tottenham, who, let's just look here real quick.
Well, yeah.
Coming up,
we'll get to the standings at the end, but yeah.
Just coming up, they have Wolves next match, and then Villa, Man City, West Ham, and Newcastle. Tough 4-game stretch after Wolves next week. So
yeah,
hopefully they can get their guys back for those matches. Otherwise,
that's going to be.
They could drop. They could definitely drop in the standings.
Oh, for sure. Van de Ven will be out.
Yeah,
a while, I think. So it's gonna hurt bad for them. But there was a lot of impactful games this weekend for the top 4 teams. So the next match of the week was Newcastle hosting Arsenal. Really close, tight battle. Good game to watch. Exciting, intense game. Arsenal end up getting what they feel like is screwed over again. Newcastle get a late goal. I forget, it's probably like 70th something minute, I think.
Yeah, 64th.
And 64th minute, okay. End up winning 1-0. Really tight game. Arsenal with some chances, but I don't really remember anything blatantly obvious that they should have scored. But they did have some chances. And Arsenal, once again, super pissed about the refs. So I guess I didn't realize it when I watched the highlights, but the goal that they gave up, I guess after the fact, the refs did come out, or somebody came out and said it should not have been given, that there was actually a foul or something in the build-up that should have pulled the goal back. So Arteta went on some massive rant again.
Did you hear it? Did you hear it?
Screwed over. No, I didn't.
Oh my God. No, it wasn't good, but he was pissed. He was really pissed, but he's like the least intimidating person like on the planet. And I get like when he gets angry, I kind of like laugh, and I kind of am laughing at him instead of not the reaction he would want. But yeah, he was super heated. He was like, it shouldn't have been a goal 3 different ways, essentially, because they had the ball almost went out of play on the by the corner flag.
Then there was a foul.
Upon review, I don't think it fully went out, so we can scratch that one off. And then the cross into the box off of that, Callum Wilson pushes, was it Saliba in the back? And I guess that could have been a foul if you, I don't know, are an Arsenal fan. And then Aaron Gordon. I'm thinking basketball. Smashed it in, and they were like, "Oh, that was offside." But I think it was a legitimate goal for all 3 of those. It's like the ball didn't go out. I don't think it was offside. And yes,
I think the foul I
the
think the
foul
foul
is
probably could have been
questionable,
given.
but that happens on every single play. You could call that on any corner, on any cross. Saliba's got to know that you're not going to get that call if you go down. Just be stronger. Like, and if I don't know, I feel like I'm glad they didn't call that back from VAR because it was just a scramble. Yes, he pushed him in the back a little bit, but as a defender, you got to be stronger, man. You can't allow that in the hopes that the ref is going to call it. You know what I mean? I was okay with it. I think it was real sour grapes. Obviously, he's emotional, but you know what?
Yeah.
You guys didn't create any good chances. Like you were completely stifled. You want to cry about losing a match? Like score a goal. Like I don't know. I don't have any remorse for Arsenal and Arteta for this one.
Yeah, one shot on target. Yeah, they did create 14 shots, but only one on target. So there's a lot of shooting from deep, shooting over the net, shooting wide. You know, a lot of that going on.
Newcastle seems tough to break down.
Very tough. I think it's a fair assessment. So, but very impactful for the top of the table. We'll get into the standings once we get through these top teams. But that obviously big impact. Newcastle taking down Arsenal. The next game that had serious impacts, we had Liverpool going on the road to Luton Town.
Oh, man.
A game I think we both put down for a 3 or 4-0 win for Liverpool. They end up only being able to escape with a draw.
Just for context, plus 575 for a draw in that match.
Yeah. Basically 6-1 money you could have made.
6-1 for a draw. Unbelievable. I mean, what a result for Luton Town. That's what I take away is like so awesome for them in their home stadium. Like that draw was like a win. Like they were so excited. The fans were cheering so hard.
And it took Liverpool scoring a late goal to get the draw. Like Luton was looking at a win for a minute.
Yeah, and they had a couple of chances where if they had a little bit more quality in the final third, they could have won that. They just don't have that quality. But awesome result for Luton. I was pretty stoked for them, even though Liverpool's my team this year that I picked to win it. I still think they can. This isn't. You can't have more than one of these if you're Liverpool.
Yeah,
you know you can have one. Exactly. At least it wasn't a loss. You got 1 point. It's not the end of the world, but you can't string a few of these together throughout the year.
And it means you got to pull out some of those ones that may be a little bit more even. You got to come out on the positive side. So, you can't let these stack up. Also, feel-good story, Luis Diaz did make a substitute appearance in this game and actually scored the tying goal late in the game. Super emotional after, had his T-shirt for his dad under his jersey, which was really cool. So, definitely a bit of a feel-good, even if you're a Liverpool fan and you're bummed about the draw. There was multiple storylines going on here simultaneously. Yeah. Also in the game, I don't know if you heard, but I guess the Luton Town fans were chanting some pretty messed up stuff about Liverpool, like to the point where like their own team and I think the Premier League like condemned them.
Oh, really?
I think it's something potentially to do with like the Hillsborough tragedy. That's where like 96 Liverpool fans died in like a crowd crush.
God, I watched a documentary on that, and it was horrible.
I guess there's some chants that like I don't know that have been around for a while that people just never do anymore or whatever, and they started pulling these chants out that I guess were not well accepted. So there may be some more punishment or something to come out of that for Luton Town. I'm not sure, but
it's so terrible.
Lots of things going on in this game.
Why do people think sports is like an excuse to act like terrible people? You know what I mean? Like I just don't understand.
Yeah,
don't understand it.
I get it if it's like making fun or like you suck.
Yeah,
there's
like, so many clever, funny chants that are awesome.
Like that sort of stuff. And not like life or death stuff, like
not throwing rocks at the team bus, not saying horrible shit in the crowd, not cutting off the jersey of a visiting fan. Like shit like that is like, come on, dude, got to be better.
Crazy stuff, man.
All right, so Liverpool lose a
Also,
point.
yep, they lose 2 points there. Yeah, with the draw.
Yes.
So the other top four team was Man City, who cruised against Bournemouth. Not much to talk about there. Man City looking like Man City.
Yeah.
Easy game. Absolutely smashed, creating goals at will. Looking a lot better than they had been looking about a month ago. Two more teams that are near the top that also encountered some difficulties. We had Aston Villa going on the road to Nottingham Forest. And we talked about this.
Dude, I
I think we
know.
specifically
The
talked about
one
this.
the one week I didn't pick Nottingham to win. Like
Yeah.
I've been picking them to win every single week. I finally am like, all right. I'm not going to do it this week. And they go out and beat Villa, which I'm stoked on, but it just took me picking against them to happen.
I'm gonna see what I picked.
Getting a Waniyi back and playing Alanga full time, they're so much better. So much better.
Yeah, I picked a draw, of course. Yeah.
I mean, not bad to pick a draw on that. I think I picked a Villa win because Villa had just been flying, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And great win for Nottingham Forest. They're a different team at home than they are on the road. That's for sure. They have a good home crowd. And I didn't realize it, but that's like the Midlands derby.
Yeah, though it's actually
they're
pretty
close.
intense.
Yeah,
It looked like they were like rivals.
So that's awesome for Forest to get that one over them. That's pretty sick. So
beat out. Yeah,
really cool.
That was awesome. Obviously, had impact. Aston Villa, obviously in the top, I think 7 coming into the game. Brighton also went on the road to Everton for a game that. What did I pick? I picked a 3-1 win for Brighton. I thought this was going to be smooth sailing for them.
Yeah, I went 3-2.
1-1 draw.
That's
Everton with another big result against a big team.
Possession. Can you guess the possession?
I think it probably eclipsed the 70% mark.
80% possession for Brighton. 80 to 20. They had 866 passes to Everton's 208.
Jesus.
But Everton had more shots on target, 4-2. So,
all right.
Take that for what you will. Yeah,
that hurts.
Wow,
that's gotta hurt.
The fact that Everton or Brighton weren't able to break them down like they normally can break down teams is a pretty good compliment to Everton's defense. So, I mean,
yeah, we do need to keep in mind, and maybe we haven't been playing this up enough, but I mean, Brighton's got a good amount of injuries going on, and it feels like they always had next man up and suddenly that guy's even better than the guy that was there before. But we may have been kind of overrating that, right? Maybe they are starting to really struggle with some of the absences they have, at least in terms of consistency. So something to watch out for moving forward. With
their last 5 matches, 3 draws, 2 losses in their last 5 Premier League matches. So they've definitely slowed down a little bit, but they are in 7th, tied with United with 18 points, who got a much needed victory over Fulham.
Yeah.
I think I might have picked this one exact, which is why I probably won the week.
That's probably why you won. Yeah, I went 2-1, so I had the win, but by 1 goal, but not quite exact.
And they did have that first goal that was called back, Man United did, where it was like, what did they say? It was like a subjective offside or something like that. Did you see that?
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was like I think it was like they didn't have the line, like the camera angle to see, but they were like, "Hey, I think it was offside, judging from what we can tell."
Interesting.
Yeah.
I did not hear about that one. No.
And then I'm on record. I am not a Bruno Fernandes fan. Do not like his game, but he was taking a lot of shit in the media. People talking about him being
shouldn't be the captain,
like from multiple people, taking a lot of shit. And for him to get the winning goal for the club at the end of the game, pretty awesome. and I'm always
Yeah.
going to root for that. So that was cool. I was happy for him. Like I said, even though I don't like him, like that's difficult to take all that criticism and to come out and actually score the winner.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. No, much needed though. I mean, we talked about it going into this week. Another loss here, and it was going to be teetering on the edge of disaster. So absolutely must-win game. Tough game, but they came through. So they got to start stringing these together. A couple. I don't know who they have next on the schedule, but they gotta string a few of these performances together.
Well, let me tell you, as long as my actually right when I did that, it like took forever to load. Well, they have the Champions League in the middle of this week, so they have Copenhagen on Wednesday.
Okay.
And then Luton Town on the weekend, so that should be an easy dub. They have them at home.
At home, yeah.
Everton on the road, and then if we stay in the league, Newcastle,
At
Chelsea.
Newcastle.
So
At Newcastle, Chelsea at home, so a couple tough ones.
they should have. I mean, that Everton on the road, a normal Man United season, they should win that match. But Man United this year, I don't know. Everton's playing
and they need
stronger.
they need these next 4 or 5 games to be prepared and ready, because they got a stretch of Liverpool, at West Ham, Aston Villa at home, all in a row in December. So that's going to be a tough stretch for them, I think.
And they got to climb out of
Gotta
the
be
hole
ready
in
for
the
that.
Champions League to get out of the group stage, because they are not
Mm-hmm.
in a good place in the group stage either. So they're going to Galatasaray, and then they have Bayern December 12th. So it's not an easy slate for them. They got to win Copenhagen on Wednesday. They got to win that match.
Yeah. But that's on the road, though, right?
It is on the road. Yeah, it's not going to be easy.
That's that little bit extra dimension to it.
Absolutely.
So. A few other games, though, to get through in the Premier League from the weekend. So another really exciting game to watch. We had Sheffield hosting Wolves. Austin's prop bet pick
I watched this whole
comes
game.
through with a massive win. Legitimately last second penalty. Scored the penalty, kicked the ball off, immediately blew the whistle. 2-1 to win, pull out the victory at the end. That was a scary penalty too, I gotta say. I don't know if you watched the replay.
Yeah, it was.
He went for all power and he
close.
almost missed the goal.
Close. But hey, it went in. It counts.
It went in.
I felt pretty comfortable because all I needed was a draw. And even early on in the game, I was like, these are evenly matched teams. I think Wolves at full strength, not having Neto is obviously a big loss for them.
Yeah.
But Wolves at full strength is a better team. But without those guys and at home, I think Sheffield, they hung tough. They played well. I feel like they deserve that win.
Yeah. No, I think Wolves could have won, but it's the
Sure.
same old story with them where they don't have enough quality players to finish, to score, right? Like this season it's been like Hwang and Neto, and like Cunha obviously started off the season super hot, but he's not really a goal scorer, right? He might create and he's threatening, and like you saw today, it's like chances are falling to guys like Ait-Nouri, and he's just shanking it 50 yards right, out for a throw-in rather than at the, like
They bring in Fabio Silva, and that dude can't score at all.
right. And so it's just it sucks, right? Because they're a pretty decent team and they string some stuff together, but that seems to continuously be their Achilles heel. But a huge win for Sheffield. Really excited for them.
Hang on, I had an idea. This is what I've been thinking about this from watching a couple players. Next episode, I'm going to make a list of the Premier League players that I am certain I could beat in a foot race, like a 15-yard sprint, or like from the goal line to the 18-yard box.
Okay.
Guys, I know who are going to be on that list: Jordan Ayew, Kulishevsky, and Fabio Silva. I think I could beat all three of those fuckers in a quick sprint.
Really?
Jordan
You
Ayew never runs. Never.
Well, no,
runs.
Kulishevsky is the one that surprised me. I feel like that guy's got some quickness.
He's slow as fuck, dude. He's so slow.
Yeah.
He's got some weak ass shot. He finally scored because it went off the back of somebody. I think he hustles hard. but Tottenham need more out of him. He's got to score more goals, man, or create some more chances. I think he's the weak link up top. I would rather see, like, well, Richarlison's just been so bad, but
Kulusevski, no, he's better than. I was about to say he's better than Richarlison.
Kulusevski's a better team player than Richarlison is, but Richarlison has goal scoring upside that I don't think Kulusevski has. I think that's the difference.
When he has confidence, I feel like.
Right, but he is so far from where he was.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll throw in an honorable mention. There's some of these defenders that I'm like Thiago Silva. It's like
39,
you know, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Kurt Zuma, you know, like
dude, might even be our boy guys. Tim Ream. Drink.
Yeah, dude. He might edge him out. So it'll. What's funny though is it would probably turn out that the only people we would actually beat are the goalies, you know. But
I don't know. Some of the goalies are in shape. I couldn't beat Onana. No way.
Yeah. What's that like?
Most of the goalies are in shape, man. There's no one really slow that I could think of. But so I'll come up with a good list for you.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for that. We'll make that. We can do that as a occasional check-in if there's anybody that new that gets added to the list. We'll keep a running list and celebrate new entries onto the list.
Yeah, exactly.
A couple more games we had. So we had Brentford hosting West Ham. West Ham being my prop bet pick. Really exciting game. Ends up being a 3-2 victory for Brentford. Back and forth game. Two good teams, good players, both sides. Brentford actually missed kind of a lot of chances early on that I thought would come back to haunt them. West Ham. Oh, I forgot about that Kudus goal. That
Kudus goal was so.
Kudus
sick.
Is looking crazy good, man. He might be the most promising young player in the Premier League at this point. He is unreal. Crazy volley goal, left-footed, out of the air, right into the side net corner around the goalie. Awesome. Just, you got to be so stoked if you're a West Ham fan. Even though you lost this game, you just got to see even more of the potential of this guy. But big win for Brentford, who'd been kind of stumbling a bit. West Ham, who had been playing well. So kind of a big win.
Big win for Brentford. And to do it from coming from behind. Like that West Ham team's good.
Yeah.
That's a good team to beat. And Brentford is such a hot and cold team. It's crazy. Like they have the capability of beating anybody when they're on their game. But yeah, it's awesome win for them. So is that the last game we want to talk about? Crystal Palace was the other one.
That was the last game. Not much to talk about, but they went on the road to Burnley to come to victory.
So that pushes Brentford into the top half. So they're 9th in the table. We'll just go from the top down. Don't look now, but Man City's back on top.
The best week imaginable for Man City. So they take home the easy win cruise. I think, what was it, 5-6-1 or something. Mm-hmm. And the next 4 teams, the rest of the top 5, Tottenham lose like multiple players for multiple games.
Yep.
Liverpool tie at Luton Town.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal lose to Newcastle. Aston Villa loses to Nottingham Forest. So just the most perfect week a Man City fan could hope for.
Absolutely. They all lost or lost points at least.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, crazy. So and then Newcastle 6th with that victory. So they're
bumped up,
behind everybody, still in it. No Tonali, no problem. And then Brighton at 18 and tied with Man United right behind them with 18 points. So Man United in 8th, they're not out of this. And then Brentford, as we mentioned, Chelsea rounds out the top 10 with 15 points. And then Crystal Palace right behind them. West Ham dropped to 12th in the table.
3 losses in a row in the Premier League.
Let's stick to West Ham for a minute because they came out on fire. They were a top 6 team at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Where do you realistically think they're going to finish?
Oh, I think they're top half worthy. So, I mean...
But, like, how far in the top half? Like 9?
I could see them being 7 to 9. Yeah. I think that's, like, the level of cohesion and talent they have could get them there. 7 to 9.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
I
I
mean,
don't think they could
you
go
keep
the
in mind,
same.
right? So you look at these standings, these records. They just lost 3 in a row in the Premier League, but midweek last week they beat Arsenal. What was it, 3-1 or something?
Yeah.
In the Carabao Cup, right? So it's like they're very much capable and threatening to any of these top teams. I feel like, but they just lack the consistency at times, and it just so happens that this inconsistency is happening in the Premier League. Same thing that happened to them last year, which is funny enough. They were practically being relegated last year, yet won the Europa Conference League, and in another competition. So it's really weird how these things work, and it seems to be happening a little bit again for him.
Yeah. So that Sheffield win. Let's just close out the rest. So Nottingham Forest 13, Wolves 14, Fulham 15, Everton 16, Luton Town just outside of the relegation zone in 17th, and then Bournemouth right behind them, both at 6 points, and then Burnley and Sheffield on 4 points. Sheffield with a win, still in last place in the league.
Tied for 19th.
Oh man, poor Sheffield.
But losing on goal differential.
Yeah, exactly. But big win. They're of those. I think those are going to be the 4 teams for the whole year, battling relegation. Luton Town, Bournemouth, Burnley, Sheffield. I don't see a world where there's another team that drops into that mix, because Everton has looked much, much better. I don't think they fall into the relegation zone anymore.
No, they're starting to create a little gap there, right?
Yeah.
They're almost 2 wins clear of the other clubs at this point. So,
but they're one Calvert-Lewin injury away from maybe creeping back down there.
True. And they did have an Onana injury, but still pulled out the draw this weekend. So
yeah,
they got some players starting to come through and show themselves. So
I mean, our boy Sean Dyche,
dude,
he'll get the job done.
Cheers to you, Sean. Our dog.
Absolutely.
So real quick, talk through the games, talk through the standing updates. Let's check in on our bets from the weekend. So
yeah, I didn't look. How did we do? It was a tough week for results.
It was there were some things that happened that were tough to think, but we had 7 bets going into the weekend that we pulled up last episode. A couple parlays, 1 over that we chose, and then some teams to win.
Oh, Westham.
But ended up putting $20 down on each of these. So we had West Ham to win, Man U to win parlay, which looked very good on paper, and it could have happened, but lost that one with obviously the West Ham loss. We had Crystal Palace to win, which we did and ended up happening. So we made some back there.
Easy money right there.
Yeah. We picked kind of just a shot in the dark, the Wolves to win on the road. We weren't most fully convinced on that one, but we did it anyway.
I'm going to blame the alcohol on that one.
Yeah, that one snuck through our normal, very fine-tuned betting machine. We had the Tottenham win, which if you watched the first 20 minutes of the game,
that was the right pick.
Great call.
Yeah, that was the right pick.
Obviously, crazy things happened, but those crazy things also led to us winning our other bet, the over on the Chelsea Tottenham, which ended up at 5 goals.
Yes.
So we did make some back on that one, and then we lost the final 2. Brighton ended up with the draw at Everton.
That Brighton
we had the Aston Villa Brighton parlay.
I felt so good about that one. One going into the
lost draw on that one, man. Damn. So we bet 140. We ended up only getting 90 back. So not the end of the world, but definitely a losing week for us.
It was a tough week all around as far as results go. Like the really only expected result was Man City and Man United, but you weren't getting good odds with those anyways. So
yeah,
it was a tough one. We'll bounce back next week. Like you said, we didn't lose.
Yeah,
we didn't lose everything.
Yeah, and we had taken multiple weeks off, so we were just getting the juices flowing again. So now we'll be ready for next week.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, this is okay. News and notes here.
Yeah.
Anthony Taylor demoted for this weekend's games. I could have sworn I saw him on the sideline of one of the matches being the 4th referee, though.
He was, but he wasn't the center ref. He was demoted from being the center ref for that week.
How embarrassing. Like, you've been demoted because, you just haven't been doing a good enough job? It's kind of strange.
Yeah. Well, I think there was a specific decision last week, and there had been multiple, but there was some breaking point. I forget what the decision was last week, but there was something that was like the line in the sand that was crossed, that a message had to be sent. So I like it, though. I
like
like
it
that
too.
they're starting to see serious action being taken that might actually, improve accountability and improve attention to detail for these guys.
Yeah, I like consequences. I mean, as long as he's not being, stoned in the streets by some fanatics, like
What has happened to him? But
yeah,
yeah,
I like it. Yeah, exactly.
him specifically.
Yeah, I know. Poor guy, dude.
Man.
Being a ref is the worst, the absolute
God,
worst.
I
feel
do
for those
wonder.
guys.
I want to know how much they get paid. Like,
It's not enough. Whatever it is,
it's
it's not enough.
it's like the shit you got to put up with, and the pressure,
The
and you have to
stress.
be really good at your job. Yeah.
So I told you about this. My first job, I was a referee. I was like, dude, I was like 14 when I started, something like that. Probably did it for a couple years. So you're only allowed to ref matches that are younger than you. The players are younger than you. So I was doing a lot of like 10-year-old to 12-year-old games, boys and girls. And doing that is stressful. Like, it was stressful for me in those, like, not important, like, they weren't even club, it's just rec league stuff. But the fans, aka the parents, make it so terrible. Like, they are ruthless. Absolutely ruthless.
Yeah,
so
bad, man.
Like, I would be stressed out over fucking 10-year-old girls playing against each other because the parents would stress me the fuck out.
Even doing like a high school game, that next step up would be intense.
More, like the more competitive it gets, just the more stress. And like, I can't even imagine at this level with the magnitude and the coverage. And I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. I feel for those guys. I feel for those guys a lot.
Yeah, it's tough. Shout out to you, Anthony Taylor.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink one for you.
Oh. All right. What else do we have in the news?
So I was gonna see if you watched, because Bayern went to Borussia Dortmund and played.
I did not catch it.
I was hoping for a good match. It was a rout. Like,
really,
Bayern outclassed them in every sense of the word. It was not close.
Wow.
I can't remember the final score.
Was
like
Reina
4-0, something like that.
Was it because Reina was on the bench?
Probably, yeah. But it was one-way traffic, and Harry Kane had a hat trick, doing Harry Kane things, just making it look so easy. Like, I mean, they have Sane and Musiala are just so difficult to handle, and then they'll slice through people, and then they cross to Harry Kane, who's just like the perfect finisher, and it looked like they were in a different league than Borussia Dortmund that day.
Damn.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, I might need to watch these just to see what it looks like, because I feel like, Bayern's good, but I feel like they've
been struggling a little bit.
Am I struggling against like lower level teams? So to play a team like that, and
they just lost in the whatever the German Cup's called. I forget the name. To like a third division team. They've been struggling a little bit, but this was definitely a statement game. They fucking came out and they dominated.
Damn. Well, that's huge. Harry Kane, man, getting his chance.
Yeah, I know. I would love to. I would love to hear. I'd love to have a few drinks with Harry, just like off the record, and be like, "Yo,
how you feeling, dude?
Yeah. Did we make the right decision? Do you wish you were back at Tottenham just a little bit? Just a little bit? What do you think?"
Damn, yeah.
Do you enjoy seeing Son score?
They lost midweek to in the whatever it was, what's the the German
Cup. I don't know what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, the Pokal. Do you have Pokal or whatever? I think. Yeah. Damn. Yeah. He must just be like, I can't believe this is happening. This is unreal.
They should still win the league. They should win the league.
I know they should, but I want Dortmund so bad. I want Royce to win, man.
I know. I don't see them winning the Champions League.
Oh no, I don't see that either. I don't think they have enough, man.
I don't think
their
they have enough
defense looks sketch at times.
But they can. They still can. Like, if they did win it, I wouldn't be shocked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're
Yeah.
certainly not my first, second, or third pick. You know?
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah.
So some other news around. Just thought I'd throw this one out. So Phil Neville
No way. Sorry, I
staying
just read it.
staying stateside.
Phil Neville, coach of the Portland Timbers. Oh
Portland Timber
man,
MLS, dude. Phil Neville, man.
that's
Not
awesome.
Gary, but Phil. But so
Mm-hmm.
if you remember, Phil was kind of unceremoniously kicked out of Inter Milan in the or not Inter, Inter Miami, sorry, in the quest for bringing Messi over. It was part of the dominoes that had to fall. So I always felt kind of bad for him. I was like, he just got kind of like nudged out, like, sorry, dude, like you're gone. So I'm happy for him to see him land another job and stay in the U.S. So
The Portland Timbers are
you
one of the
watch,
best MLS clubs
yeah,
in the
oh,
league,
100%.
hands down.
So yeah, if you're
Them,
gonna
the
go to
Sounders.
another team in the MLS, I feel like yeah, it's like you go to one of the Northwest teams
Yeah,
or like LAFC,
yeah,
if you're not going to be in Miami, like I think that's a great place for him to go. So
yeah.
that was pretty happy for him after what happened in Miami. And then some injury news we got. So we already talked about it, I think, when we talked about Chelsea, Tottenham, but Van de Ven out for potentially a long time with what looked like a bad hamstring pull. And then also out of the Arsenal Newcastle game, 2 injuries. Matt Targett pulled his hamstring as well, out I think at least 3 months, they said. And listen to this, Dan Burn, what was it? Dan Burn will miss several months with a spinal injury.
What?
I don't know what happened. I don't know. I didn't see the play where he got
Slip a
hurt.
disc or something?
Yeah, but Dan Burn, serious injury.
That's not good for a tall guy. I'll tell you that.
No, not at all. So yeah, so that was very concerning. But that's 2 different left backs that just got hurt for Newcastle. They do have Lewis Hall, who they picked up from Chelsea, but he's really young
Mm-hmm.
and somewhat inexperienced. So there may be some issues for Newcastle
Ooh, that
going
Newcastle
forward on the left side.
defense. Yeah. Dang, that's tough. Midweek, they got a big match. We'll talk Champions League in a minute, but yeah. So
Yeah,
they got an
pretty.
important match tomorrow, I think.
Yeah. Talking Champions League. Yeah. You
Yeah,
want to get into that now?
yeah, we could do that now.
Yeah.
So the Champions League tomorrow, this is the rematch week. All the matches that were
Oh yeah,
from the week
flip.
before, the flip, yeah. So tomorrow,
Yeah.
Newcastle travels to Dortmund.
Damn.
Yeah, they're gonna. Dude, there's so many awesome teams in this group. It's crazy. So, Dortmund's hosting Newcastle tomorrow, and then we have. I don't want to go through all of them, but in the same group, AC Milan hosting PSG tomorrow. That one I'm going to keep an eye on, and then the Lazio Feyenoord rematch. I want to watch that
Yeah.
one.
That was a good
That
game.
one I'm stoked
Yeah.
on too.
That was
So
good.
a
Yeah.
lot of good matches. Atletico Celtic playing tomorrow. Barcelona Shakhtar. Man City
Yeah.
probably
Red
gonna
Star
roll.
Leipzig.
But I
Yeah.
think that Dortmund, Newcastle, AC Milan, PSG where I'm going to be focusing the most on.
Yeah. Yeah. And then on Wednesday, we've got Arsenal hosting Sevilla. We've got Bayern hosting Galatasaray. That was a pretty crazy game. We already talked about Man U going on the road to Copenhagen.
Mm-hmm.
Inter going on the road to Salzburg. Union Berlin, who's been struggling mightily, going to Napoli. Yeah, so not the most exciting matchups in the second day, but that first day's got some bangers.
I think that I kind of want to see how Benfica play against Real Sociedad because Real Sociedad's leading that group.
True, I forgot. They've
And
been playing really well.
Benfica's lost every match thus far. They lost to all
And
3 of the teams. It's
Yeah,
like,
they lost. Yeah, they lost last time against them, right at
Right.
home. So
I want
they
to
got
see
a
if they can
lot
bounce
to
back.
play for.
Yeah, the Benfica's usually not a pushover.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot the PSV Lens game. That one might. I mean, the reality is Champions League, man. Even these matchups where you're like, they're still probably really good matchups.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh my gosh.
it's just the
All
best
them.
of the best, man.
And then
It's,
some of
fun
these
to
other
watch.
teams that we're not locked into every week. We don't know if they got some important injuries or
They've
things
been
like
playing bad,
that. You
you
know,
know.
exactly. So a lot of things can affect these matchups here. But
Yeah, but huge weekday, right? With match day 4, once you get through match day 4, there's only 2 games left. You really start to see who's in, who's out, who's got a shot. So it's a very pivotal match day, I think. So
yeah,
teams are really going to give it their all. So it's going to be really fun. If you're going to watch Champions League, I feel like, to be honest, you could probably skip the first couple weeks and the first couple match days in terms of like it being the most intense. But you get to match day 4, 5, that's when it gets really crazy.
hopefully
That's when you
match
get
day 6 for some groups.
yeah, yeah. But the
Yeah,
problem with match day 6, sometimes it's already done. But 4 and 5, I feel like that's where the bangers are.
yeah.
So definitely one to watch.
AC Milan, it's now or never for them. They got to get a result off PSG
Yeah.
tomorrow. They got them at home. AC Milan hasn't been playing that great of late, so they got to
Hmm.
step up for this one.
Yeah. All
Okay,
right.
any
Anything
quotes?
else on Champions League?
Nothing on Champions League. I did have a quote that I will segue into because it ties into AC Milan, sort of.
Okay.
But the owner of AC Milan had this quote in 2007. Okay?
Hmm.
Listen to what he said. I see Serie A getting more and more poor. We're leaders now, but in 15 years we'll be a supermarket. The EPL will be the number one league with everyone else behind them. We don't have funds. Then the Arabs will come into football and we don't have any appeal anymore. There's no infrastructure or new stadiums. We're still behind 30 years. Then, do you know the Arabs are building entire cities in the desert? There's so much economic strength in that area that they definitely won't stop. They'll definitely enter the football world because it's the biggest business and gives the most visibility. What do we offer? What is our appeal? If the government doesn't intervene, we'll be the third wheel. In England, they're incentivizing young kids to play football, and the government is providing funding for football academies. They're also doing it in Germany. The government provides funding to register kids in the academies free of charge. In Italy, we're standing still, as if we expect everything as a right. When I speak about these things, people think I'm crazy. I look to the future, and I'm being honest with you. I see the future of Italian football as very bleak.
Sounds a lot like America.
I mean,
American football.
he's right on the money with
Yep.
all this, and yeah, and the stuff about the academies. That's the same reason why we will
Yep.
never compete the way we think we should compete
Hmm.
until we have academies like that.
Exactly.
Dude,
Yeah.
I saw, dude, it pissed me off so much. I saw U.S. men's national team official account. They posted a picture of Tyreek Hill, and it was like, imagine if like U.S. soccer got the best athletes in the U.S. And it's like, this is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. Tyreek Hill would never, even if he was able to play soccer, he would never be as good as we needed him, good enough to play unless he trained overseas somewhere. But because he
Yeah.
certainly, even if he played soccer his whole life in the States, he would never be as good as he would need to be.
Yeah. You got to go. You got to go abroad.
Yeah.
It's like the only way.
Or I don't know his exact upbringing, but you got to have a lot of money to
Start
like
playing
to
young and
play
yeah,
in the US.
travel,
You got to
travel
pay.
ball.
You got to
Yeah.
pay for everything. Or
Yeah.
you could play football for free. You know, like we just don't have. It's so stupid to be like U.S. men's national team. Like this is what you're posting. Like what are you, stupid? Like you should know this. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Got me mad. It's really
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of rubbing salt in the wound. So,
Yeah.
I mean, one day we can hope for some sort of setup where that type of thing can happen, but we're not there, man. We're not even close to that. So
It
it
just
really hurts
takes.
right now.
We need one success story. We need
Yeah.
my hope is like the MLS has got a new club in San Diego.
Yeah.
Egyptian owner, I forget his name, but they're building an academy in San Diego, and I would love it if it was a free academy for kids. I doubt it will be, but if someone
Hmm.
did that and like actually made it successful and had an example, then like that's the first domino to fall. It's like there's got to be the
Yeah.
first one, you know?
I mean, but it's kind of spot on. Getting back to the quote you just said, it's kind of spot on though, because his like what he's saying, right, is the only way this really works is if the government gets involved, because we live in a capitalist society. You do stuff to make money. That's why we've ended up where we've ended up. Same thing in Italy, same thing here. It's the only way it's going to happen, right? If we incentivize, if we subsidize creating that sort of culture and that system around soccer. So that's what it's going to take. Like,
But we don't do
it's
that
not just going to
with
happen.
our most
It's not just going to.
cherished sports as a country.
But true, but we don't really. Baseball is starting to change, right? But we historically haven't really ever competed. We've always still just been able to just be good enough, to be the best in these other sports, because the rest of the world doesn't really play them or play them to the level we play them. But
Right.
soccer's a different story. That's not how it works. So if we want to be good, it's going to take something different.
Yeah, and I don't see that happening. So we'll continue to be a fringe contender.
Yeah. Do you have any other quotes?
That's it.
Okay, so I had a couple stats and a quote for you to finish. So first off, I had a stat from the Tottenham Chelsea game we talked about, which had the most unreal first half, the unreal game, but just review after review.
Right.
So the first half of Tottenham against Chelsea, it went on for 56 minutes and 26 seconds of like playtime. It was so chaotic that there was only 23 minutes and 21 seconds that the ball was actually in play. So less than half of that time was the ball like actually like they were playing soccer. That's how much crazy stuff happened, how many reviews there were, injuries, like
That's terrible.
just everything happening. Just unreal. I thought that was a nut stat to hear, especially with all the everything they were trying to change this year with adding more injury time.
Mm-hmm.
That still you end up with a game like that, which was crazy. The other stat I had, I wanted to say this one for you because he's your guy. You love this guy, Virgil van Dijk. Of the 49 center backs who have started 5+ matches in the Premier League this season, so most have started at least half the games basically.
Mm-hmm.
He is the only center back that is yet to be dribbled past in the Premier League.
I told you, he
So
still got it. He still
dude,
got it.
Still got it, man. Still got it, dude.
He still got it. He's good. He is good.
Yeah, real
And
good.
yeah, I stand by us putting him. I think we were projecting a little bit when we put him in our all Dutch
A recovery from last year.
We were projecting forward that he was going to continue at the same rate that he's doing. So it was a little cheating, but
Yeah.
yeah. I
Like
he's a great player.
All right. Yeah. So I had a quote and then a little story to wrap things up. So this one's from Szczesny, the Juventus goalie. I didn't watch the highlights of this game, but I guess there was they played Fiorentina, and it was a really close game or whatever. So he's being interviewed after the game, and this was his quote. He's like, "We went through some difficult moments, ... for about 89 minutes." So I guess they just sucked and scored a last equalizer, and then dropped that line in the post-game interview.
He's super funny, dude. He's actually got a good sense of humor.
Yeah, he's great, man.
I like
He's,
Szczesny.
love it. And then the last little story I had for you. So, Ndombele was one of the guys that was signed by Galatasaray. One of these players that's like kind of fallen out of favor in popular teams, but still probably really good. There had been a huge thing when he was at Tottenham, how people thought he was lazy. He wasn't in shape. Went to Napoli, wins Serie A, but still carries the same legacy of like, is he really in shape?
Yeah.
Is he just, not trying and just eating? And it turns out that rival fans in the Turkish league, in an effort to make fun of him, they started ordering food in his name delivered to the Galatasaray training facility. So they're ordering like Uber Eats and DoorDash in his name and having it delivered there. Just to fuck with him,
Oh,
which
that's
I thought
awesome.
was legendary, dude. I was like, oh my god, dude.
That's
Just
hilarious.
ordering like 5 orders of nachos and having it delivered to his training facility in his name.
That's that's world class trolling right there.
That's great, dude.
That's awesome. God, I want to do that now.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
so
think of some
funny.
player that just has that reputation.
Yeah, like
Like James Harden, order like 82 chicken wings to the Clippers facility or something, you know?
James Harden for sure, dude. He deserves it. He deserves every bit of shame. He's a loser.
Oh, so good.
All right, cool. Do you have anything else?
No, that's it, man.
All right, cool. Well, we hit it right on the hour mark. Wrapped up
There
the
it
whole
is.
week. Champions League tomorrow. I'll
Yeah.
be watching. So yeah,
Be
we'll
ready.
be back. You think you could be back on Thursday?
Yeah, yeah. We'll aim for Thursday. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch anything live the next couple days, but I'll catch the highlights at night.
Yeah, you can catch
But
some
yeah, I'm
highlights.
I'm down to let's get back at it. Thursday we'll look at the weekend's games, talk about Champions League, get some more bets down, look at our picks. So I'm stoked.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Well, I'll talk to you on Thursday. Cheers, everyone.
All right, cheers. See you Thursday.